The sentence. Sentences, fragments, and clause. The sentence. A sentence is a group of words that contains at least a subject and a predicate and expresses a complete thought. Take note of the word complete. If the thought is not complete, then the group of words is not a sentence but a fragment. It is important that you learn to write and speak in sentences, that is, learn to express yourself in complete thoughts and not in fragments or dependent clauses. Sentences are made up of clauses. A clause is a group of words containing a subject and a predicate and may be used as part of a sentence. The subject of the clause is what is spoken about while the predicate is what is said about the subject. In other words, the subject is that part of the sentence that shows, 1. Who is speaking, 2. Who is spoken to, or 3. The person or thing spoken about. The predicate is that part of the sentence that tells you what the subject does or what is done to the subject. The core of the predicate is a verb which can also be one word or more than one word. In Julie has eaten meat. Julie is the subject because it is what is spoken about while eaten meat is the predicate, that is, what is said about the subject. There are various types of clauses. 1 finite clause. 2 non-finite clause. 3 main or independent clause. 4 subordinate or independent clause. Finite clause, it is one with a conjugated verb that expresses a specific time of the action or state expressed by the predicate, for example, Susan will drink juice. I am going to school. Non-finite clause. A non-finite clause is one whose verb is not conjugated, is in the infinitive, such that the time of the action or the state expressed by the predicate is not specified. For example, I want Susan to go home. Jane wants to sit with Mark. Main or independent clause. It is a group of words that has a subject and a predicate, and can stand on its own in a sentence. For example, 1. You must hurry or you will be late. You must hurry. Independent clause. You will be late. Independent clause. 2. Paul fetched wood and Mary fetched water. Paul fetched wood. Independent clause. Mary fetched water. Independent clause. Subordinate or dependent clause. It is a group of words that has a subject and a verb but does not express a complete thought and therefore, cannot stand on its own in a sentence. It modifies and therefore it must be used with an independent clause. It is always introduced by a subordinating conjunction. For example, 1. The people scrambled over the drink because they were hungry. The people scrambled over the drink. Independent clause. Because they were hungry. Dependent clause. 2. After the wind ceased, we went to church. After the wind ceased. Dependent clause. We went to church. Independent clause. There are 2 main ways to classify a sentence, that is, through the structure and through function. Sentence structure. Simple sentence. This is a sentence made up of a single clause. Thus, it has only one independent and no subordinate clause. It may have a simple or compound subject and a simple or compound predicate. For example, 1. We hired a car. 2. I gave a basket to Peter. 3. Mary and James are in class. Compound sentence, it is one made up of 2 or more independent clauses or simple sentences, joined together by a coordinating conjunction, a colon, or a semicolon. For example, 1. My father works on Thursdays and attends church on Saturdays. 2. I love sports but I am physically disabled. 3. Flora loves athletics, Siri loves volleyball. And James loves basketball. Complex sentence. It contains one main clause and at least one subordinate clause which provide additional information to the independent clause. The dependent clause may come before or after the main clause but it is identified by the fact that it is introduced by a subordinate conjunction. For example, we couldn't present the drama because we arrived late. Though we arrived late, we were given the opportunity to present the drama. Compound complex sentence. It contains 2 or more independent clauses and at least one dependent clause. For example, if I have to pass my exams, I need to be much serious and I must also be hardworking. Declarative sentence. A declarative sentence makes a statement and ends with a full stop. It says something about a noun, that is, a place, person, thing or idea. For example, 1. I know John's hobby. 2. Mulu is 10 years old. 3. The pen is on the table. Interrogative sentence. It asks a question and ends with a question mark, for example. 1. Do you know John's hobby? 2. How old is Mulu? 3. Where is the pen? Imperative sentence. It makes a request or a command. It ends with a period. Imperative sentences usually have an understood subject you. For example, 1. Go in. 2. Please, give me the bag. 3. Get some water and drink. Exclamatory sentence. It expresses a strong or sudden feeling or a surprise. It ends with an exclamation mark. What? I can't imagine that she did it. If this presentation has helped you, subscribe, like and share with friends. The sentence.